Hi, I'm back. Lucy, I'm home. Hello, guys. I'm so excited to be here with you. This is going to be a fun one. It just keeps coming up, and I wanted to hop on and invite some more people on. This is going to be a really beautiful live. Oh, good. I already got people hopping on. As you hop on, say hello. This is going to be a great one. There's a lot of stuff going on around about this. And of course, the team wants to lend their perspective. They're like, grain of salt, take it with a grain of salt, as they always do. And make sure this gets shared in the groups. So as you're hopping on, say hello. Let us know what you're up to this weekend. I'm at my parents'. I'm going to be in the car all day tomorrow. So lots of fun. Lots of fun. I'm just like super thrilled that you guys are here. Hey, Joanna. Hey, Jennifer. This is going to be really beautiful, I think, for a lot of people, because there's been just like so much speculation about this shit. So have you guys been hearing speculation about what this is? Like, especially on YouTube. And people saying, I've been hearing on a lot of stuff from different people. And I was hearing it even before I went to California, about, I'm having dreams about earthquakes. I'm having dreams about something's going to happen to the earth. And I'm having dreams about natural disasters. People were having dreams about plane crashes. And I was going, I don't think that this event is what anyone thinks it is. I think our dreams are windows into our consciousness and showing us what we're afraid of. So not necessarily a plane crash directly, but what would a plane crash represent in your collective consciousness, in your subconsciousness, in your deeper mind? What would an earthquake represent in your deeper mind? Turbulence, feeling instability, feeling unsafe, feeling like you're insecure, right? Like the ground's shaking beneath your feet, right? Like you can't trust literally the foundations of what you are in your life. Like there's not trust. So really think about this stuff. So speculation, the team saying speculation has been running rampant. So we wanted to get on and talk a little bit more about it, because I haven't even been resonating with any of that stuff. Haven't been feeling any of that stuff at all. I'm like, I don't think this is a negative event at all. I don't actually think it's an event. And they were like, spot on. Good one, old chap. So what I have been finding as I've been chatting with the team, and I think this is the perfect time to talk about this, especially with spring. Everyone's kind of hitting the refresh button, the reset button. There's a lot of rebirth and modes of rebirth going on. So what's happening with the event is that it's not actually an event. It is part of the collective consciousness evolution. And spirit and source are literally starting to be felt more presently on earth as love, as romance. So they're saying a lot of you think of love and romance as literally romantic love, like, sexual relationships, partnerships, sexual partnerships, where you have sexual romantic feelings toward that person, where you have loving, I want to get married, let's make babies types of feelings with these people. Let's start a family, like that type of romance and love. What we're speaking of is romance of the higher realms. Romance meaning a love for all that you are, a love for all that is, and the separation of source and spirit is going to begin to melt away. There will be a merging of worlds. So an emerging of worlds only means, they're saying a lot of you talk about the veil. It's like a lifting of the veil. It's not some big dramatic event where all of a sudden you're going to see spirit everywhere or see spirits everywhere is what they're clarifying. You will begin to see spirit as in source, all that is, Allah, Buddha, Krishna, Jesus. You will begin to feel it. Like you're going to begin to experience a romance with life. And many of you are experiencing romance with yourselves. That's why they've been doing live streams on and off over the past couple months about what is soulmate love and the importance of, they're constantly talking about love being all there is and having a soulmate relationship with yourself. Right, and this is something I think most of my clients, like my private clients, a lot of girls and infinitely wise women, we talked about this loving, trusting, knowing the self, and just, yeah, like Joanna, a lot of people are feeling the love energy. A lot of people are feeling turbulence, wobbly on their feet, shit's coming up to be cleared and loved. And cleared, I don't even talk about, when people talk about energy, I'm like, it's not energy clearing, it's energy loving. It's seeing what's there and loving through it, right? Because there's no bad, there's no wrong, there's no highs or lows, there's no sliding scale. It's all just love, just one energy. So anytime you're seeing something, feeling something, afraid of something that's coming up and you're like, this isn't, you got to be like, it's an aspect of myself that I'm seeing through my own lens of perception and judging as right or wrong, good or bad, high or lower, not negative or positive. And so it's an opportunity to love. That's all energy is, all energy clearing is. So I almost think about it like loving. You're just loving the energy, and that heals so deeply when you have that awareness, because it heals your awareness. So with not heals, it changes your awareness. It just changes your awareness, right? It like opens it up, because we all are it. But a lot of us are going to feel it, and that's part of what this is. Now, this is happening all the time in our linear time frame. It's happening constantly, on a constant basis, right? But there's just been a lot of stuff, how the consciousness works and how we manifest that into form in our technology, is that certain things catch on. People start talking in certain communities about the event. It's been going around on YouTube like crazy, thousands of views on those things. And they're like, and millions of you are feeling turbulence. Millions of you are also feeling destruction, and war is coming to an end within you. And the more that you focus on love and criminal justice systems melting away, criminal justice systems changing form. The way you treat criminals changing form is how you're treating those lower aspects of yourself that you want to hate and push away and make wrong, and say, I cannot love you for all that you've done. They're saying a lot's coming up to be healed, to be seen and to be loved through it. And so the criminal justice system is going to be one of the first systems to evolve and change over the next decade. The event is really the conscious collective awakening, quickening. They're saying it's in your linear time frame, they're saying it's going to feel like it's quickening. So a lot of the systems that are not serving you are going to begin to melt. And in fact, they're already melting. It's just behind the scenes. Like we've been calling for it. These are all things we've been asking for. Even in our little tiny prayers, I choose love instead of this. Man, why isn't the system working? Why doesn't the financial system seem to be supporting me? How come I never seem to have enough? How do I have enough? All these little things. Why can't I seem to find a lover? Why are there a lack of good men? Shit like that. And that's what they're telling me. That's what they're telling me to cover. So I don't think there's a lack of good men. I think there's plenty of amazing humans out there, and we just need to be patient and see those aspects of people and choose. Make choices all the time. And those relationships can be very rich and fulfilling. And so they're saying it's not just even the loving relationships, or looking at the systems crumbling, or looking at the love that's going to prevail. It's really about loving the self and loving what is and loving what you aspire to be. And aspiring to be not meaning like famous or world famous or rich or wealthy or beautiful or in a soulmate relationship or having hot sex or being a paid author or a published speaker, or a paid speaker or published author, or a creator of some point, or someone who mixes and mingles with the best of them. It's really about they're talking about or primetime athletes. It's really about loving everything and all that you are as you are, and that's what creates cataclysmic changes. And they were saying, we've been speaking with this being, which is me, about cataclysmic changes that can happen once the war within stops being a war and starts becoming a palace of peace and prosperity. And how that can shift globally because of that place of peace and prosperity. You no longer wish to blame and shame and attack. It doesn't manifest in your actions. It doesn't manifest in your hateful words that you put on social media. You don't play the victim anymore. You don't. You play a role in consciousness. All of you do, and all of you are thought creators. You create from thought all the time. So when you're thinking hateful, nasty, angry thoughts, and you're judging others, even in what seems to be harmless judgments, like, I like this experience more than this experience. I like the color blue more than green. That's a judgment that creates separation. It's kind of almost like attacking a part of the self and saying, oh, that green part of myself, I don't like you as much. So it's actually a beautiful thing when people don't have favorite colors, like little things like that. They're saying there's a constant war within you to justify being loved. And what you're going to see in this consciousness evolution, this shift, and many of you are going to be, they're saying on like the up end of it, like the up and up, you're going to experience the shift as a more loving vibration. That loving vibration is going to catalyze changes in your lives. These will not feel like negative experiences if you maintain your loving peace and vibration. If you're caring for yourself, and caring for yourself meaning looking at what's coming up in here and here, right? Like dropping into here, leading from here, and leading with love at all times. Even if your mind says that's illogical, it's choosing the heart, to lead from the heart. So they're saying the event is not an event. It is a collective evolution, a shift. For many of you who are not in a high vibration, or you're not really focused on love and choosing to see love, what your fears are going to have you focus on is the dark getting darker. The underbelly of the collective consciousness kind of like surfacing. You're going to kind of like feel more fears or notice more things that feel really bad. But they're saying namaste, like continue doing namaste, like the love in me sees the love in you. And when you choose namaste, when you choose that divine forgiveness to see just innocence and love in all of it, you will maintain your inner peace and keep your high vibration, and only attract higher vibration experiences to you. And every experience that feels negative will seem to melt away or fall away. Like it almost feels like such a shift that the judgment of it just melts away, and you don't even think on it or really notice it much. Like they're like, so here's some ways you can begin to. Okay, they're saying thwarting this experience is not possible. So we want you to have some tools in your toolbox to maintain peace during it. Many of you are, again, going to experience love and bliss energies. And that's what I've been experiencing a lot. Even in things that would have normally been really hard for me, 2 years ago, or a year ago, 3 years ago, I'm just feeling like it was just like a little blip. Like it was just like, did something happen? Oh, like you just start to move through things really quickly. They don't trigger you as much. So it's not about being perfect. It's just choosing peace and maintaining peace, and realizing that consciously you're like, I can choose peace all the time. I don't have to choose to be unloving toward these things in myself, towards these judgments, or towards these experiences that are part of my evolution, part of my shift. So the shift is really a shift in potential for you to recognize your inner love and divinity. Because when people call it your divinity, that just means you recognizing, yes, I am a source aspect. I'm a divine fucking being. I am love. And so is everything and everyone else. Even that criminal who's been raping and pillaging and doing all that shit. Yep, they're a divine being too. They just got the fear focus on, right? And so wish them peace, wish them love, ask for them to be extended peace, send prayers to them. Send prayers to them and know that they are reconciled within you. That's huge. So they're saying love yourself through it is one of the things we want you to do, because they want to give some things that'll help us. So maintaining inner peace is about choosing peace. I choose love instead of this. I choose peace instead of this. I choose love and to love myself despite this. So I choose love until I can totally turn the other cheek, meaning, and what turn the other cheek meant to Jesus truly was he didn't even recognize the first blow as a blow. He keeps showing it as a kiss. So of course he would turn the other cheek and accept the other kiss, right? So it's like that, like recognizing that only love is real, that only inner peace exists. You can only maintain inner peace if you're willing to choose it for yourself. If you say, I deserve that, I'm willing to give that to myself. I allow that for myself. I love myself that much. I'm going to give that to myself. So that's one of the things they're saying is choosing peace. And so meditation could be great, going for walks in nature, but it's really about the mind and cleansing the mind. And I choose peace instead of this. I choose love instead of this. I choose to offer the peace of my mind to this person. I choose to see that this problem isn't actually a problem. My ego, my fearful mind wants me to create a problem. So reconciling doubts and fears is going to take time for some of you. For some of you, it's going to be super quick. They're saying the mind is the war of the mind is the war that shows up outside in the manifested world. Collective inner wars create collective outer wars. Collective inner turbulence creates collective outer turbulence. Collective inner peace and inner harmony creates collective outer peace and outer harmony. And so it's time to turn the tides. It's time to shift the state of the collective consciousness, and every single one of you choosing peace and to meditate for an hour outside, to speak to a divine being, to speak to yourselves with love, to speak to others with love, to shower yourselves with appreciation, to appreciate the love and everything, every experience. Sorry, got a call. To love every experience that seems to be outside of yourself, it's only going to raise your vibration. And they're saying what you do for one, you do for all, because you are all. So you're going to bring that to everything and everyone, and you're going to feel it. Like I've been feeling it as emotions in myself. Like I was looking at pictures of nature this morning, and I just started crying. Like I became overcome with emotions. Like it was really beautiful. So maintaining peace instead of seeing in bliss is possible. Kundalini wakings are going to be really high right now, which is why last night, if you guys missed last night, we did a live stream on them on this page. And just remember that you can maintain peace instead of this. You can choose love instead of all of it. That's all the event is this Schumann resonance vibrating at a quicker speed. Many of you, if you're in a really peaceful place, you're just going to feel bliss energies. It's going to feel really good. And it's all about, the fear focus that's going on around the event is a lot of the people who are not experiencing romance with life. They're not experiencing romance with everything and everyone. They're not loving life. They're not loving themselves through it all so deeply, so unconditionally that they literally are afraid of it. They're making up all the stuff in their minds and getting premonitions. Doesn't mean those things can't happen. We can collectively manifest things that aren't going to feel great in the outer world, but the turning of the tides is imminent. They're saying it's imminent. There is, an ascension process happening, and it's always happening. There isn't just one shift. Like it's happening all the time. It's happening for different beings. That like enlightenment is dawning at different beings at different speeds is what they're saying. And so it's like they're saying time is like completely irrelevant to this. In our consciousness, we think it's relevant. They're like it's irrelevant though. This is really collective evolution. So begin to shift your internal state, and you will shift your external state. Yeah, they just said, this being, as in me, has been practicing this for the past year, and she has found it very fruitful for her. Which is, I love the way they talk. I don't say the word fruitful. They're saying she's quite candid about her experiences much of the time, but she has not spoken much of her Course in Miracles work. And they're kind of commenting on, they're saying sometimes I justify it as, well, I need to kind of hold back. Not everyone needs to know the whole like show going on behind the scenes. And they were like, but sharing the show behind the scenes, sharing the experiences behind the scenes of how I've done this. So I've been using Course in Miracles. I also do mindset coaching. So I also lean on them now. But in the beginning, before I even woke up, or started to hear them, I was doing a lot of mindset work, and that helped a lot. And I was starting to meditate a lot. And I was working with coaches and mentors to help me clarify my mind, and I didn't even know why. I just knew that I was in this state of fear and anger and controlling, and I was driving myself crazy, and I didn't like it. I didn't feel good. I had anxiety really bad. I was like, this doesn't feel good. I don't want to live life this way, especially not with a little boy to raise. So I was sitting to care for and love on, and that was one of my moments of choosing peace. So they're saying a lot of you are going to have those types of awakenings. It's not even, for some of you, it may not even be a sudden, I'm hearing the voices of whoever. Like, it's gonna, for a lot of you, be that war within, and you're gonna have those feelings of, I don't like the way that things feel in this way, and you're gonna start to make changes and start to work on what's going on in here and in here. And a lot of you, they're saying a lot of you will try and fix it externally first. You'll go to yoga, you'll drink green juice and get out in the sunshine more. You'll do all the outer things, saying, okay, so this fixed me temporarily. Going to yoga made me feel better temporarily. Drinking the green juice made me feel better temporarily. And you'll get all the crystals, and you drink the alkalized water. You'll go vegan, and you like do all these things, and you'll meditate, but then you're not actually addressing the judgments and the thought systems and the fears and the repressed memories and repressed emotions, they're saying. And so then you continue to fall into these old patterns, and you're like, why? Why isn't this changing? It's because you're trying to fix the outer without understanding that the inner affects the outer. And that's all that's happening in the evolution. So if you're continuously cleansing your mind, choosing forgiveness, choosing love, choosing to see innocence in everyone, appreciating everything, appreciating yourself, like being in love with yourself. They keep going back to the romance of life. That feeling, that romance with life, feeling the same unconditional love and heart swelling. Like I was crying looking at a picture of nature with 2 cups of coffee today, crying. And I was just like, it's so beautiful. They were like, that's romance. That's romance. It's not just, I have a romantic partner and I feel complete because he loves me, but if he leaves me, oh my God, what a terror. How terrifying. It's not about that. But they were saying it will enrich your romantic experiences to have such love and trust and faith and care for yourself by choosing loving thoughts and choosing peaceful thoughts and choosing to see peace and love instead of this. Like they're saying, remove the negative from your life. And if you can't remove it, change your perspective on it. Find the love in it. That's going to be humongous. Like you can't, they're saying you're seeing this in your criminal justice system. This is where this is mirroring. This is so interesting because they haven't said this before, but it makes sense. They're saying the criminal justice system mirrors your desires to just cut off the negative. You just cut out negative relationships. They're saying this being has tried that and it didn't work. I was like, yes, I have. It didn't work. You tried to cut out the areas of society that don't feel good. So you try to, cut out those areas of your life that don't feel good. You're seeing this in your diets, fad diets. I'm just going to cut out carbs. Well, how the fuck does that go for everyone? Doesn't stick for very long for most people, does it? To just cut it out. You try to just cut out sugar. Well, you're used to sugar. You know what I mean? And your mind believes that sugar and carbs are a part of your diet. So it relies on it. Like we try to just cut out fats. We try and they're saying you try to also remove people from society that have done things that are not pleasing, not amicable, hurtful, harmful, right? You put them in jail. And they're saying, does that work? You shove them away, you put them in prison cells, and then what happens when they come back out? They're not reformed, they're angry. They're sad, they're hurt, they're suffocated and alone. They feel more trapped and isolated and unloved than ever. And they continue to perpetuate those same things out in the world that they were perpetuating behind bars. This mirrors your collective consciousness in the attack on the self and the dismissal of the self. All of the aspects of the self that need to be seen and heard and loved and healed and brought to peace and brought to love themselves. And they're saying that was one of Jesus's gifts. Mother Teresa, Gandhi, loving the unlovable, loving the seemingly incurable. External healing and internal healing are the same. In fact, one depends on the other. So they're saying this is quite triggering for many of you. We know, how can you love rapists and murderers and pedophiles? And they were saying jury consultants who pick bad juries, getting people indicted who are innocent so that people who are guilty can remain free. They're saying the corruption in the criminal justice system is running rampant, and it is mirroring the collective consciousness's state of disapproval of what is unlovable in the self. So like we're all choosing to not love aspects of ourselves that are judgmental or feel dirty or feel, even if you're not, doing those actions that those people did. You're not stealing, you're not raping anyone, you're not hurting anyone or harming anyone, you're not, triggering anyone on purpose, you're not saying any mean things to anyone, you're not accosting anyone or assaulting people, or harassing people or shaming people or blaming people, like at least not consciously, but are you doing it to yourself? Are you harassing and shaming and blaming? Are you assaulting yourself mentally, emotionally? They're saying spiritually it's not possible, but mentally and emotionally it follows a lower vibration. Yeah, we're all the same. Our bodies are just channels. So that higher consciousness evolution that's coming is going to be a blessing in some of your systems. I actually haven't heard this one yet. This is really interesting. I've heard a lot of stuff about financial systems crumbling over the next millennia, not anytime super soon. The criminal justice system is really interesting. So they're saying, it's important because it mirrors your internal justice system. If you are forgiving and you are loving and you say, I choose peace instead of this, I choose to love these aspects of myself that are bubbling up to the surface that seem unloving or I'm ashamed of them. I'm ashamed of this part of myself. I'm unloving with myself in this way. I treat myself like garbage when it comes to loving my hair or loving my teeth or loving myself after this event happened in my life. Some of you go through trauma and then you don't love yourselves the same way. You think there's something wrong with you, or you think you're changed afterwards, and they're saying, you're still source, you're still love, you're still light. So are those people who did those atrocities that you judge as atrocities. They're all still ideas in the mind of God, just as are you. So what this collective consciousness evolution is showing you, many of you, is where there are parts of you, aspects of you that need to be healed. And they're saying not healed as in corrected or punished or left in a jail cell to die or put in a hospital to be put on medications and left to wither, but not to be numbed out or suffocated or isolated or smothered or silenced. They're saying giving all beings a voice and a choice will become more and more the norm. And more of you will feel discomfort with this. But it is going to bubble up to the surface to give you a chance to love yourselves through it. As you love yourselves through it, you will love others. Like that peace and that love you give to yourself naturally. They're saying there's nothing you even have to do. It naturally extends because all of the minds are joined. All minds are joined. So it's really going to bring a lot of peace and plenty and prosperity to everyone. But you are going to see some criminal justice system changes emanating from your collective consciousness. It's been a long time in the running, long time coming. This will not be immediate. It's going to unfold over time. Relatively quick though. They're saying, but time is irrelevant. Time's irrelevant. So they're saying, we love you, our dear ones, and we are so happy to be here to have supported you with the ascension process. Remember to choose love, do your Course in Miracles work, find a mentor, coach, a teacher, a spiritual leader, whoever, who teaches in a way to help you clarify the mind and choose new belief systems and new thought processes, choose to remove judgment, choose to give up attack and practice, they're saying selfish selflessness, like service to self and service to other, understanding that they're the same thing, that self and other are equally worthy and equally valued and equally loved in the mind of love, in the mind of source. in the eye of source, you know. And then to bring about great change, you have to bring change within yourself first. You keep trying to create change without changing the way you're thinking, and those belief systems within aren't changing. They're not uprooting. So every time you try and create change or revolution, it comes from this vibration of like anger and anxiety and attack. And then the changes don't actually catalyze the change. So you just keep seeing repeating patterns and loops. Like Black Lives Matter, and now there's Me Too, and they're like, has any change happened as a result of those things? No changes happened, but it's all coming up to show us we keep addressing outside of us and not addressing what's within us. So this is great. I'm so glad that we did this, and thank you guys for coming. I think this is a great topic, and we're going to cover a lot of this stuff in the Infinitely Wise Woman program. Because when we think about that woman within you is like your internal Wonder Woman, and we want to start to call on her. She's her own soulmate. She's her own true love. And once you tap into that, you have that romance with yourself, that trust with yourself, knowing yourself, loving yourself, and you just become open to life. You become open to experiences. You begin to love all and see all as equal and worthy and loving. And your relationships get better, your experiences feel better, everything feels amazing. So then you end up open to receiving everything and everyone, and you become very high vibration and aware of source. And when these energetic things start to come up, or when events in your life happen that would have triggered you, you don't end up closed off from source. You don't end up closed off from who you are. You don't end up feeling separate and alone, and you don't feel justified in attacking, because it doesn't even happen for you as much. You just start to trust your intuition. You start to lead from love, and that's really what intuition is. It's downloads that are purely loving and of the best and highest. You don't question your intuition. You just take action from it. And like I said, like your relationships, everything improves. You start to like bring higher and better experiences into your life, not to mention physical manifestations, because your internal world is changing. So Infinitely Wise Woman was very much about that in the first round. This round, it's like souped up version. I'm really excited for it. We're going to have some focus on manifesting, but it's really about receiving. So receiving messages, receiving information, receiving wisdom, your own source wisdom, taking action on it, receiving money, receiving love, receiving great connections and soulmate relationships and opportunities and free. Like it's all about like that freedom and adventure and connection with love and source. It's all the same. So it's very much about receiving. I'm really excited about it. It's almost like a 2.0 version of the original program. And the girls who were in the original one had a great time, and they were all like, oh my God, I'm coming back for round 2. I can't wait. Like because we only did 8 weeks in the first round, and everyone was saying, I miss our calls. I miss my calls with my girls. I miss doing the work. They all said they wanted more. So this next one will be a little bit longer. We will still have the group calls. I think getting together is really important and not being so isolated, it's really important. And we're going to have meetups added in. Super excited for that. Yay! So if you guys are interested, please PM me. Let me know. And I hope this helped you guys. This is not some big physical thing. It could end up showing up in the physical world, but it's not some big physical thing. It's a self-love revolution. That's all. Love revolution. Well, not a revolution. It's not violent. We associate revolutions with violence, is what they're saying. It's an evolution. Evolution of self, evolution of soul, opportunities to choose love and choose peace. And if you need help with the mind stuff, I do have a couple of private client spots open as well for one-on-ones and ongoing coaching. So if you are curious, let me know. I have VIP days. I can do in-person VIP days. I love doing those, and travel. I can come to you. We can pick a city and meet there together. Do a VIP day. I do little group stuff, group meetups. So let me know, and we can talk soon. Okay? I love you guys. Oh, I appreciate you too, Candy. Thank you so much. I'm grateful for you guys coming and hanging out and having fun. If you didn't watch the live stream with Megan and I from last night on this page, it was so good, you guys. Go back and watch it. Why is it so easy to judge and blame ourselves when we wouldn't dream of doing it to another? Chances are, if you're doing it to yourself, you are doing it to others. You just aren't even aware of it. We are all the same. Yeah, we're all the same because we're all the one. You know, I was just giving that message to someone earlier who was kind of struggling with like a specialness, a feeling of specialness in a relationship. And I get a lot of people who come to me and say, I've been told I'm the direct incarnation of Mary Magdalene or Jesus or whoever. And I'm like, well, we all are. We're all the one. We're all pieces of the same source. So what you just said about everyone being the same, we are literally all the same source. It's just source experiencing itself in infinite forms. It's really beautiful, actually. When you start to focus on oneness, which is something we will do in Infinitely Wise Women, because you have to channel clearly, to really receive from source and be clear, okay? And to have total trust and faith and wisdom, it is going to be so much easier for you. And not to mention getting higher vibe, loving life, manifesting, receiving mode, to start to not feel so separate from everything and everyone, not have to feel so special. Starting to let go of hierarchy is very important. It's not just important, it's going to change your fucking life. It's going to change your life. You know, it's going to change your lives. I promise you, like so like that program will be very much about tapping into oneness and collaboration and connectivity, because one of the key lessons was so beautiful, and it was about these beings that we want to tap into and all these things that we know are waiting for us in the ether, you know, like the physical manifestations are coming and they're just waiting in the vortex, right? Abe Hicks says, understanding that you're the vortex, you're not separate from it, you're not separate from those beings, allows you to pull those things in. You know, it makes it easier to tap into because you realize it's not some other being than they're choosing. It's just all love. You can tap into the energy of everything. All right, I don't see a lot of questions. Oh, yay. Oh, yeah. Please share, Candy. I would love to see it here in the group too. All right, guys, I'm going to get going. I will talk to you guys soon. I hope this was helpful for you. If you're curious about anything Infinitely Wise Woman, working privately, any of that stuff, please send me a PM and I will get back to you. All right, bye, guys.